Ciao, if you've watched any of my videos, you will know that I love experimenting new things in the kitchen. And today I've got an idea. I've got a chicken and I want to do it in breadcrumbs. We normally eat chicken in breadcrumbs from chicken breast. But today I want to see what it's like to do the whole chicken in breadcrumbs. To an extent this is new ground for me because I've never done such a thing before, but I thought I'll try, and I'm finding it quite easy actually to remove the skin. I thought that was going to be a little bit more difficult, but it's coming off very easily. I've been working with this little knife which is really good as it's got a very thin little blade and it's really sharp. But I'll carry on with the paring knife because I get the feeling that most probably is more accessible to most. The paring knife is also working well and the skin is coming off very easily. The reason why I'm removing it, by the way, is because I need the breadcrumbs to get stuck to the chicken and the skin obviously would be in the way. I am genuinely surprised how easy it has been to remove the skin. Maybe something to do with the chicken because it's very fresh. So literally a couple of minutes, that is all it took me. Totally deskinned, back and front, and ready for the next step. And I'll start by breaking in a couple of eggs in a large bowl. And using a fork, I'll just give them a quick whisk for a few seconds. And I'll pick my chicken and put it inside, and I'll roll it around so that all of the egg cover the entire surface of the chicken. And I'll leave it in the egg, maybe with the breast facing down, while I get the breadcrumbs ready. New bowl. These are dry breadcrumbs, which actually I make. If you would like to see how I'd make them, have a look up here, there is a little short. I'll put enough to do the chicken, but also I'll be doing some vegetables. A nice large clove of garlic, and I will be crushing this one in today. There you go. A very generous handful of parsley. This is parsley which I have frozen when it was fresh, and it always stays fresh. Half a teaspoon of salt. The Parmesan is quite salty, so if you're using Parmesan or Pecorino, do not go mad with the salt as it will be too salty otherwise. And this is pepper. Quick mix with your hands to ensure that everything is properly combined, and this is ready. So let's pick up the chicken. I'll ensure that any excess egg is left behind, and I'll move it to the breadcrumbs. And I'll start rolling it to ensure that every single part of the chicken is covered by breadcrumbs one way or another. And I've only been using my right hand so that I can still have access to my left hand and I don't mess everything up. So I'll lift the chicken and I'll move it into an oven dish. I can see that the breast area has dried up a little, so I'm adding a little olive oil. And I'm topping it up with more breadcrumbs. I think I've done a good enough job. I can move on to the vegetables next. I've decided to do vegetables in two different ways. I've got potatoes and peppers, which I will be doing in the same breadcrumb mix as the chicken. But also I've got a floating broccoli left in the fridge, which I will be using alongside an onion, and also some carrots, which will be on top of the dish. If you use peppers like me, do ensure that you remove this white stuff from the inside and also the seeds, as they're very bitter and difficult to digest. The vegetables will be cooking alongside the chicken for quite a while, so I'm chopping them relatively large pieces. These peppers are not very big, they're quite small actually, so I will chop each pepper into 4 pieces. And I'm moving the potatoes and the peppers with the egg mix now. And just like I did with the chicken earlier, I'll cover everything with egg, including the coating with the breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna go in and mix everything together. Using a piece of cooking string, I'll just quickly tie the legs together. And I'll start with the potatoes and the peppers first. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll position all of the remaining vegetables on top. I'll start with the broccoli, onion and carrots. And I'll go on one corner and I'll put a little white wine. This is dry white wine, about half a glass. Final sprinkle of pepper. Lid goes on and it is ready for the oven. I'll put it in for 1 hour at 180 degrees with the lid on. I will not touch it. And after 1 hour, I will take it out. I'll show you what it looks like, but the likelihood is that we'll need another 20 to 30 minutes without the lid so that it will become lovely and brown. Mine is a fan assisted. If you've got a normal conventional oven, up the temperature to 200. So I'll see you in about 1 hour. 1 hour has passed and it's time to get the chicken out.
Smelling good.
Julia's just joined me and she came round and she said to me, "What's that noise?" I said, "It's the oven." said the oven. She's forgotten what the oven sounds like.
It sounded a bit noisy, that's all I was saying. It sounded more like the washing machine on a
Yes,
spin.
right. Okay, so chicken, as I mentioned, has been in there for a good hour and it's smelling good and it's looking good. Before I put it back in, I will put a little olive oil on top of my vegetables, but also on top of the chicken as well, and this will ensure that they become lovely and crispy. And I'll put it back in, temperature still 180 degrees, about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, enough for it to finish cooking. See in a little while and then we can see what this new creation looks and tastes like. And it's ready, and it's been out of the oven for 5 minutes to cool down slightly, as it is really hot, so I can taste it.
Looking lovely and crispy now.
Yes, the olive oil has crispened it up and also has given it this lovely golden colour, as well as making it a bit moisture on the top. I'll go for a carrot.
That was my contribution, everybody.
Yes, it was. It's really moist, actually. I think the fact that I cooked for an hour with the lid on has made sure that all of the juices stayed well within the chicken, and it's lovely. And the breadcrumbs are delicious because they always are. Try and make it and see what you think and let me know. I will try potatoes and carrots and everything else in a minute. Actually, I've already had the carrot, but I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm really happy. It's different but incredibly delicious, as I expected. What could go wrong? Arrivederci and buon appetito. Thank you. Bye.